Okay, how many of you have joined so far? Can we start our discussion? Okay, let's start our discussion. Others will join us. Yeah, so in our last class, we have almost covered some aspects regarding our knowledge. That means classroom suggests space for collaborative knowledge, collaborative construction of knowledge. Today, we'll discuss about the role of the teachers in knowledge construction. So, as all of you know that we have discussed in our previous class that in a constructivist classroom situation, what is the role of a teacher? Anybody who want to say something? The role of teacher in knowledge construction means we are talking about the aspects of constructivism.
Good evening, ma'am.
What does the constructivism theory says? Or the constructivist theory says? What is the constructivist theory defines the role of the teacher as what? Or as whom? Yes,
The role of the teacher as a facilitator.
you are not audible, Kamalini. Please.
Ma'am, the
Yes,
role of the teacher is a facilitator.
Kamalini is audible to all of you? I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, maybe here is some network issue.
Ma'am, good evening.
Kamalini is audible to all of you?
Yes, audible.
But I can't hear.
Good,
Yes.
good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. The role of a teacher as a facilitator, like to encourage the views of learner and give them chance free and limitless thinking.
Problem is from my side or your side? Yes, Kamalini, now you can say.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Kamalini. Are you trying to
Good
say
evening,
something?
ma'am.
Yes, good
Good
evening.
evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to say that in constructivist theory, a teacher play as a facilitator, not as a center of education.
Yeah, Kamalini, you are absolutely right. In a constructivist classroom situation, a teacher acts as a facilitator. Or you can say that the teacher's role is to prompt and facilitate the discussion. That means teacher should create a situation or a conducive learning environment for the students, where the students will feel free to ask questions, to explore, to elaborate, or to participate in the discussion. So here, the teacher is not the knowledge constructor or the knowledge creator. Here, the knowledge is constructed or created by the students himself by performing or doing some activity, or by engaging meaningfully in the intercourse, or meaningfully engaged in the discussion. So, role of the teacher in facilitating learning, or to create a situation or to conducive environment for learning is most beneficial and most important on the part of achieving learning outcomes. Okay? But here the question arises that the learning outcomes, achieving the learning outcomes, what the teachers should do. Teachers should first analyze the need, the ability, the competency of the students, particularly in which area the student needs more attention, and particularly in which area or which activities should be designed so that each and every learner will join or will interact in the teaching learning process, or will learn by doing, or participate meaningfully in the discussion, participate meaningfully with his peer groups. So that is a point of discussion or question, that role of the teacher is very important in a constructivist classroom. Okay. That means we can say that the shift in the teacher's role from a transmission mode of content to asking why questions and encourages rational understanding. Particularly, if you were saying that the teachers will ask why questions. Suppose a teacher wants to make his students learn about certain things. So what the teacher will do? The teacher will create a situation, learning environment, and the teacher will prompt some questions so that students will feel free to participate in the discussion. At the same time, students also encouraged to ask question. The teacher should give a prompt so that the students will ask question. It may be, sometimes it may happen that students may come out of some irrelevant questions, or questions that is not directly related to the content. In that particular case, what the teacher will do? The teacher will encourage the students to ask more questions, and once the exact question or the intended question the student asks at that point of time, the teacher gives a prompt and encourages the student that yes, that is the point of discussion, or you may proceed in that particular direction. So what will happen if you encourage the student to carry forward or to go in a particular direction? Then they will be meaningfully engaged in the discussion, or they will meaningfully participate in the teaching learning process. So that should be done in a constructivist classroom, or we are saying that the activity-based classroom, where learning takes place by doing or performing some actions. That is learning by doing. All of you understood it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So particularly the teacher here will ask the why question. If certain things are happening, how they are happening is important. Equally important is why these things are happening. If you are asking the students that why these things are happening, it will carry forward a discussion to a more in-depth analysis. The student will analyze that if these things are happening, then what are the situations or what are the determinants that are making a change or shift in the learning process. So as all of you know that in the constructivist classroom, in a constructivist classroom, constructivist classroom, learners control their own learning process. That means they lead the way by reflecting on their experiences. A constructivist classroom says learner not only learn by simple observations, but also he learns meaningfully by his own experience or interacting with his social environment. For example, learners keep journals in a writing class where they record why they felt about the class projects, the visual and verbal reactions of others to the project, and how they felt their own writing had changed. Periodically, the teacher reads these journals and holds a conference with the learners to assess what new knowledge the learner has created, how the learner learns best, and the learning environment and the teacher's role in it. As teachers, we must encourage learners to constantly assess how the activity is helping them to gain understanding. By questioning themselves and their strategies, learners in the constructive classroom ideally become expert learners. That means with a well-planned classroom environment, the learners learn how to learn. One might look at it as a spiral. That means we can cite an example. A group of learners in a science class are discussing a problem in physics. Though the teacher knows the answer to the problem, she focuses on helping learners restate their question in a useful way. As I have already given this example, how a particular positive prompt or a discussion in a meaningful context or encouraging the children to participate in the discussion or asking questions lead to meaningfully engaged in the teaching learning process and better understand the concept. Thus, a teacher has to provide such a learning environment that helps in solving the inconsistencies between learners' current understanding and the new experience before them. The challenge here is that the teacher cannot assume that all children understand something in the same way. It is the big problem that we can say in the current classroom teaching learning process or situation, because the teacher assumes that all the learners learn in the same pace. But it is not right or it is not correct, because learners have different learning abilities, learning needs, interest, and they face different challenges while dealing with the activities and while carrying forward the teaching learning process. So here the role of the teacher is the teacher must be resourceful and the teacher must have the knowledge, sufficient knowledge that the different methodologies should be used or adopted to cater the needs of different learning abilities of the child, because all the child do not have the same learning abilities or same learning needs. Also, all the children do not have same learning styles. Some are visual learners, some are auditory learners, some are audiovisual learners. So in that particular case, we can say that learning styles also be taken into consideration while the teacher is planning and while the teacher is designing some activities and strategies to carry forward the teaching learning process. So there are some points we can discuss. Teachers employ techniques which can encourage group interaction. The teacher should always provide a scope for group interaction or peer interaction, because a child learns better with his peer groups rather than in a whole class or in a teacher-centric approach. The teacher should interrelate concepts, subjects, and activities across the curriculum so that what is learned in one activity gets strengthened and reaffirmed in another. That means integration of concept, interrelated concept. That means whenever the teacher is citing some example or giving some example, the teacher should cite examples of the daily life of the child. That is, what is happening within the surrounding of the child, within the environment of the child. That should be the concern. Next is promote active learning with hands-on activities that emphasize process. That means our focus should be on process, not the product. We should not evaluate the child's abilities or assess the child's ability on the basis of his performance at the end. Rather, we should focus on the process, that how the difficulties or the weakness or the shortcomings or the deficiency of the child can be managed or can be utilized in a fruitful way. So the basis focus should be on the process, the methodologies, the strategies the teacher should employ during the teaching learning process. Provide a range of activities with case discussion. Teacher challenges students to reach beyond the simple factual responses. Students' autonomy and initiative are accepted and encouraged. For example, if a student is actually unable to read or write something, and we expect as a teacher that he will do everything overnight, it is not possible. So first of all, we as a teacher should encourage the student to initiate or initiate the discussion or to participate in the discussion. So this kind of encouragement should be done on the part of the teachers. Recognizes that learning takes place in social context and utilizes the context to support understanding. Learning is not an isolated context. It is a social context. Learning is a social context. That means the child learns better by interacting with his peer group or the members of the society where he lives. So learning should be focused. The child should be encouraged to learn as a member of the society. Societal interaction has an utmost impact on the learning of the child. Develop concepts from the real world problem situation and integrates problem solving and higher order thinking skill within the child. That means we should encourage the child to think critically, to solve the problem. That means problem solving ability, and to enhance the creativity of the child. As we can see that each and every child has some hidden potential. Every child has some potential. All of you know that no child comes to the class with no knowledge or no potential. Every child has some potential. So it is the duty or the role of the teacher to find out the potential of the child or the hidden potentiality of the child. And the teacher should utilize this potential to engage fruitfully the child in the teaching learning process. Next is provide scaffolding, which is a more systematic approach to supporting the learner. Focusing on the task, the environment, the teacher, and the learner. Who can say that? What is scaffolding? Yes? Who can say that? What is scaffolding?
Ma'am, scaffolding is temporary.
Scaffolding means, ma'am, temporary support.
Scaffolding is a temporary support. Yes, very good. Given by the teacher to the students during the teaching learning process. Its main purpose is to encourage the student to participate in the discussion. Whenever the teacher feels that no, the child is ready to participate himself individually, there is no need to support to the child. At that particular time, the teacher may refrain himself. But to the point where the teacher feels that no, the child needs some support, to that point, the teacher will support the child, give temporary support to the child. That is your scaffolding. Very good. Scaffolding involves, or effective scaffolding requires certain things the teacher should do. Inquire into the learner's understanding of concept, exploring misconception and untrue ideas. Encourage dialogue between learners and teachers to develop understanding. There must be debate, there must be discussion. And it should be meaningful from the point of view the learning objective. Some kind of learning objective we have fixed, and learning outcome is based on that learning objective. So my purpose is, or the teacher's purpose is, to fulfill the learning objective and to fulfill the learning outcomes of the student at the end of the lesson. Provide opportunities to learn through questions and through peer exchange. Seek elaboration of learners' response and justification for options. Learners' response should be encouraged or should be counted or should be taken into consideration. At the same time, learners' ideas, from which angle he is representing or exchanging ideas, it should also be taken care of by some justification. Why you are saying these things, or what is the purpose of saying these things? Okay? Got my point? Next is, there are some methods that promoting knowledge construction in classroom. Number one is your interpretation. Interpretation means what? Drawing inference beyond the literal meaning. That means if there is some concept and we are making it understand to the child, then we must go beyond the concept. If we were explaining a concept, we should not only make the child understand the literal meaning, rather we should also encourage the child to go beyond that literal meaning and to make to draw inference actually what the concept is saying. In that particular sense, we can say that the civilization and the modern civilization today and the ancient civilization that existed before, how the human civilization has come from a traditional to a modern one. What are the reformations? So this kind of themes or content, we can allow the child to explore by observing some facts, by analyzing some events, or by experimenting some ideas that what are the difference actually exist between the traditional civilization or the ancient civilization and the modern civilization. How the shift has been placed gradually, or how the changes occur, social change occur in a gradual or slow process. Next is your analysis. Analysis means breaking the parts to make a whole. That means we are analyzing the, identifying relationship among the parts of a whole. That means there is a whole concept within us, the whole concept with us, and we are making it part by part and analyzing it from that point. That is your analysis. Analysis poses critical thinking, or analysis poses higher reasoning abilities within the child. Next is your synthesis. Synthesis means we are joining the parts to make a whole. That means we have some related concepts or we have some isolated concepts, but by joining these or by correlating these isolated concepts, we can form a large whole or a meaningful whole. That is your synthesis. Joining parts to make a whole. Next is your evaluation. Evaluation means judging the quality, credibility, or importance of data, ideas, or events. So learners should be encouraged to might read several accounts of an event to determine which they find most credible. So as a teacher, we should encourage the child to judge the quality, credibility, and importance of data, ideas, or events. Which ideas are most important and which should be discussed, which ideas are less important and which should not be discussed in a more detailed way. Next is your expository teaching. Expository teaching is what? The teacher presents the subject matter and directs the learners through the lesson. A rule is presented with an example and then practice is provided. For example, the teacher may use pictorial relationship, application of rules, context through historical information and prerequisite information. Such examples are provided to give contextual elaboration and to help learners see the subject matter from many different perspectives. Suppose if we are dealing with particularly we are dealing with the secondary level learners, okay? So our part is to develop critical thinking, creativity, divergent thinking ability within the learners. So in order to develop these higher order thinking skill or reasoning abilities within the learners, we must have sufficient resources. That means we must make pictorial representation, or we must give some clues so that the child will make a meaning out of these clues, to make a whole out of these clues. In that particular, say, in particular mathematics, you can say that application of rules, context through historical information को हमें contextualize करिबा. सेई टाइम रे अकबर को राजत्व शासन केमती थिला और वर्तमान रो हमर जो डेमोक्रेसी टाइम रे हमर शासन व्यवस्था किपरि चलीछि ताको कोरिलेट करिबा, ता contextualize करिबा, so that the child will able to correlate the previous historical perspective or the ancient historical perspective with the modern or the current historical one. That is your expository teaching. Contextual elaboration and to help learners see the subject from many different perspectives. Next is your guided exploration. Guided exploration problems can be incorporated into lecture, laboratory work, and field courses. These are the modes we can use guided exploration. They fit beautifully into exploratory phase, particularly the 5P model पढ़ुचे आमे तो exploratory stage रे अच्छे. Exploratory stage रे मध्य the child does not know about the whole concept because it is a learning stage where the child is actually exploring what he is going to be taught or what are the lessons or what are the content areas he will be taught. Because in exploratory stage, the child does intensive experiment to gain knowledge about the concept to be taught. So in that particular case, you can say that it is a form of guided exploration. The teacher gives some hint or provides some clues so that the child will be able to imagine or inquire about the lesson or topic to be learned. Am I right? All of you understood? Learners will most likely come up with more than one way of arranging the substance, and the strength of various arrangement can be debated. That means we can say that there is no one right way of arranging the facts. If there is one way, then it will be rote memorization. It will be mere recalling of facts. It is not related to the understanding, analysis, synthesis, or creating of the facts. So we should encourage the learners to make solution or to provide solution or to solve the problem from different perspective. That means there is no one right way to solve the problem. There are many ways, or there are different ways of solving one particular problem or one particular aspect. Next is your cooperative or collaborative learning. The constructivist classroom relies heavily on the cooperative or collaborative aspects. I want to learn from you, to hear from you, particularly regarding this aspect, as we have already discussed in our previous class. How in a constructivist classroom, cooperative or collaborative learning is very useful. Yes?
Ma'am, a child can learn from his peers very nicely.
Okay, good. Okay, 1 minute. I will take. Okay, sorry for the interruption. What we are discussing? We are discussing about the collaborative and cooperative learning. Yeah. So what Kamalini says, the child learns better from his peers. All of you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Akshay. Kamalini ji, right? The cooperative and actually particularly the constructivist classroom says that we should encourage cooperative and collaborative learning within the learners. That means when learners review and reflect on their own learning process together, they can pick up strategies and methods from one another. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଡିସ୍କସନ ହଉଛି ଯେତେବେଳେ peer discussion ହଉଛି ସେତେବେଳେ କ'ଣ ହଉଛି different ideas, different viewpoints, different ways of solving the problem, different methodology or strategies are coming out. And in that particular sense, the child is learning from his peer groups or from his groups. So it should be encouraged and it will help positively the child to learn new concepts or ideas. Next is your inquiry or problem-based learning. In this type of learning, the learner attempts to investigate questions, scenarios, often assisted by the teachers. This approach puts learners' questions, ideas, and observations in the center. Inquiry-based learning concerns itself with the creative approach of combining the best approach to instruction, including explicit instruction and small group and guided learning. Is an attempt to build on learners' interests and ideas. Ultimately moving learners forward in their path of intellectual curiosity and understanding. The child should be encouraged to ask questions or to inquire about the event or the phenomena which he or she is guided by the teacher to perform at a particular point or to perform a task at a particular point. Yes? So this is your inquiry or problem-based learning. Here, actually in your IGNO book or textbook which has been given to you, it is very fruitful and it is very beneficial for all of you because it has been, all the concept has been elaborated very nicely. Also examples are also have been given. So you must, whenever you are writing something, you must write each and every concept with some examples. Actually, here inquiry-based learning, what would be the task actually, particularly? Can you say?
Ma'am, the teacher will provide some problem to the students, and the students will try to find out these solutions.
Who is saying? Akshay is saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The teacher, not likely a problem, it may be a situation, it may be exploring some events or phenomena, some kind of situation may be posed before the student where they will find some space for analysis, where they'll find some space for group discussion, where they will find some space for reflection, self-reflection. What I am doing is right, or what I am doing is fruitful or not. Okay. So it also needs some active experimentation. Each group comes out with a definite result or conclusion. What later is stimulated by the teacher during the explanation stage. Okay. Next is your anchored instruction. Anchored instruction approach is an attempt to help learners become more actively engaged in learning by situating or anchoring instruction around an interesting topic. That means anchor instruction emphasizes the need to provide learners with opportunities to think about and to work on problems and emphasize group or collaborative problem solving. Here we can say that think, pair, share. All of you know that? It is activity. Think, pair, share. Who can explain it? Yes? Anchored instruction is based on this activity, this particular activity, think, pair, and share. That means the teacher should provide a situation where there is a possibility or the opportunity of thinking or reasoning, pairing and sharing. ଯେମିତି କି ତମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ ପଢଉଛ ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ ଟପିକ ଅଛି ଛୋଟରୁ ବଡ ଜାଣିଛ ଜାଣିଛ ନା ନାଇଁ ତ ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ କହିବା କଣ କଣ ଛୋଟ ଜିନିଷ ତୁମେ ଦେଖୁଛ ତୁମର ଏନଭାୟରନମେଣ୍ଟ ରେ ତାକୁ ତୁମେ ଲିଷ୍ଟ ଆଉଟ୍ କର that is your engage stage then we'll say that ସେଇ ଯୋଉ ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ ଜିନିଷ ତୁମେ ଲିଷ୍ଟ ଆଉଟ୍ କରିଛ ତାର କଣ କଣ କ୍ୱାଲିଟିଜ ଅଛି ତାକୁ ତୁମେ ଲେଖ ଡିସ୍କସନ କରିକି ଲେଖ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଡିସ୍କସନ କରିକି ଲେଖ বা ଯୋଉ ଯୋଉ ସବୁ ଛୋଟ ଜିନିଷ ତୁମେ ପାଇଛ ତାର ପ୍ରପର୍ଟିଜ କଣ ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ ନା ନାଇଁ ତ ପିଲାମାନେ ଏଠି ଥିଙ୍କିଂ ଆବିଲିଟିର ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ହଉଛି ତାପରେ ସେମାନେ ପେୟାର ହେଇକି ବା ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଇକି କଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମକୁ ସଲ୍ଭ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ନେକ୍ସଟ ଇଜ ୟୁର ସେୟାର ରେ ସେମାନେ କଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେୟାରିଂ ବାଇ ଦ ଗ୍ରୁପ ସେୟାରିଂ ରେ ସେମାନେ ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି नो my viewpoint is different from his viewpoint and he is more logical and his thinking is more rational than me because he has done some innovative things. He has used some vocabulary or he has used some language that is more better than me. He is using some example that I have not used in my discussion. Okay. So there should be opportunities of thinking, sharing, and pairing and sharing. That is your anchored instruction. Okay, your unit 2 is complete. If you have any question, we can discuss it now. Yes, or we'll move forward to the next unit. Quickly, you have to respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll move to the next.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, am I clear to all of you or there is some confusion? You can ask me. So our next unit is So our next unit is educational thinkers and knowledge. Use of educational thinkers and knowledge. We will discuss it from the viewpoints of Indian educational thinkers on education and views of Western educational thinkers. Next, we will discuss about what are the commonalities or similarities and what are the difference in the aim of education regarding the Indian thinkers and the Western thinkers. Next, we will discuss about the conceptual logical perspective of education and social perspectives on education. Okay. So first of all, we'll discuss about the views of Indian thinkers on education. First of all, we'll discuss about what are the views of Rabindranath Tagore. Who is Rabindranath Tagore? Yes. Who is Rabindranath Tagore?
First Nobel Prize winner in the
First
literature.
Nobel Prize winner.
In literature.
Yes.
Nobel Prize in this book, Gitanjali, ma'am.
For Gitanjali. Okay.
जी.
And he is a famous, world famous poet. All of you know that. Also,
Yes, ma'am.
Our national anthem was written by.
yes, our national anthem is written by him. He is awarded with the term Vishwa Kavi. Okay,
Vishwakavi. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Vishwa Kavi. Santiniketan and Vishwa Bharati are the renowned contribution of Tagore in the field of education or to the field of education. So, what Tagore is saying about education? Yes, anybody who has some idea? Tagore is saying that. Yes.
ପ୍ରକୃତିରୁ
Exact.
ଶିଖିବେ ସେମାନେ ପ୍ରକୃତି ନେଚରରୁ ଶିଖିବା ପାଇଁ ତାଙ୍କୁ ବେଶୀ ଫୋକସ୍ କରିଥିଲେ ମ୍ୟାମ୍.
Yes, very good. The child will learn better by exploring the environment or nature or by interacting with the society or interacting with its environment. It may be immediate, it may be remote environment. That means, according to Tagore, the supreme truth of life is not merely to live, but also to know our existence and realize the self through love and sympathy with others. That means we should not live only, we should also let others to live. That means we should have sympathy, we should have harmony, we should know our existence and we should work accordingly. He believed that freedom should be the guiding principle of education. By freedom, what Tagore means? Tagore means the liberation of all aspects and powers of the personality, the vital energies and the various mental capacities, including intelligence and imagination. So Tagore not only emphasized the cognitive aspect or the intellectual aspect of the human being, also he has emphasized the psychological aspect or the affective domain aspect, feelings, emotions, sympathy, love. These are also necessary, and these are the necessary abilities or qualities that should be developed within the human beings. Hence, from this point of view, we can notice that the idea of Tagore is similar to that of the Rousseau, Roybal and Dewey, who has emphasized freedom, which lies in the perfect harmony of relationship which we realize in the world. That means Tagore emphasizes universal brotherhood. Okay. He also emphasized that self-expression is very important and provisions should be made for its development among students. Self-expression. What do you mean by the term self-expression? Yes, self-expression means what? Expressing yourself, your abilities, your talents, your potentialities, your creativity. And it should be organized to various forms. We may inhibit our inner potentialities through art, through music, through drama, through handiwork, or through other means. He believed in activity in education. Tagore is saying that play and work should be act as an instrument of teaching children and adults. Also, Tagore advocated the holistic development of the child or the fullness of the experience. He viewed education as a process of harmonization of various elements. That means the child's cognitive abilities will develop. Similarly, his physical, social, moral, economic, and spiritual ability which, will also develop simultaneously. For facilitating the creative self-expression of the child, importance also should be given to the co-curricular activities, likewise the curricular activities. That means Tagore has highlighted the importance of integrating painting, sculptures, music, dance, poetry, etc. with education. Tagore introduced the elements of sympathy and joy to education. Tagore is saying that if the child is not getting any joy or is not getting any pleasure in the learning activity or in the teaching learning process, then that kind of learning is not suitable for the learner. The joy should be the pivotal in all educational activities. Also, Tagore emphasized the principle of curiosity and interest and the spirit of play. Play-based learning should be provided to the child because the child learns better whenever he is engaged meaningfully in the teaching learning process through play or through work or through performing some tasks or to solve the problem or to critical thinking. Okay, your NEP 2020 also has emphasized particularly the foundational stage. What it is saying? Play-based pedagogy. All of you know that? Play-based pedagogy and toy-based pedagogy. Do you know this or not?
Yes, ma'am.
According to Tagore, education should facilitate rational thinking and imagination in child so that he is able to assimilate new ideas and knowledge. Tagore wanted education not just to develop individual personality but also social characteristics because Tagore does not separate individual from the society. He perceives society as a whole. That means individual development is necessary for the society. At the same time, society has some important role for the development of the individual personality. So, according to Tagore, education should not only prepare a child to earn his livelihood, but also it should sensitize him towards social services and also make him to contribute for the development of the country. Also, particularly in the aspects of language, Tagore has emphasized mother tongue as the medium of instruction for the child's education because the child can naturally express his ideas or views in his mother tongue. So no other target language or second language can be fruitful for the child. Tagore's view on education are a clear reflection of its humanism, naturalism, individualism, universalism, and spirituality. So there are some points, or there are some discussions that Tagore has highlighted, particularly the children should aim at these things. Number one is encourage and foster freedom of thought, independent spirit, and free will. Promote moral and spiritual development of an individual and liberate him from different kinds of bondage. Because Tagore is mostly a spiritual thinker, or the promoter of spiritual thinking. So he says that the 4 stages, the child should pass the 4 stages. That is your dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. That means liberation is also necessary. on the part of the child or on the part of the individual to be free from different kinds of bondage. There should not be any bondage. Develop the ability of assimilation and application of new ideas and knowledge and the ability of thinking and imagination. Assimilation and accommodation should be encouraged and should be designed by the teacher so that the child will correlate his previous knowledge with the new knowledge by the process of assimilation and accommodation and develop the ability of thinking and imagination. Make the younger generation aware of the national cultural heritage. So in that particular aspect, we can say that Tagore has given much importance to preserve and conserve our national cultural heritage, because these are the things the child must transmit or inherit from one generation to the another generation. That is called your cultural transmission. And the cultural transmission enhances the values, the ethics, the tradition within the child. Next is make Indian men and women more rational and less subject to meaningless social and individual rituals. Rationality has been given utmost importance by Tagore. That means logical thinking followed by some judgment. Help students acquire scientific temper. That means mental adventure, longing to conquer the world by enterprise and boldness in thought and in action. Not only Tagore has emphasized the thought process or the thinking or rational thinking or reasoning process, he has also emphasized that there should be a proper coordination between the thought and action. Develop the individual personality as well as social characteristics. Because a person does not prosper isolately. The person prospers when the society also prospers at the same time. The social characteristic or social phenomenon has a significant role on the development of the personality of the individual. Develop fellow feeling among students and enable them to render social service and service to the country. All of you understood what are the Tagore's viewpoint and education? Okay, prompt a yes only. Or if you have any doubt, we can take it. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you, Akshay. Next, we'll discuss about what are the view of Mahatma Gandhi on education. Okay, famous quote given by Gandhiji on education. Who can say that? Famous quote given by Mahatma Gandhi on education. Who can say that?
मैम बुनियादी शिक्षा
No. There is a quote. I am pointing to a quote, a statement.
Ma'am, basic education.
By education, I mean an all-round drawing out of the best in child and man, body, mind, and spirit. This is the quote given by Gandhiji. What Gandhiji is saying? That all-round drawing out of the best in the child. How it will happen? When the body of the child will develop, the mind of the child will develop, and the spirit of the child will develop. That means physical, emotional, and spiritual development of the child is happening. We can say that all-round development of the child is happening. So Gandhiji believed that education is not a pouring in process. ଯେମିତି ଆମେ ଭାବୁଛେ ପିଲା ହଉଛନ୍ତି ଗୋଟେ ଖାଲି ପାତ୍ର ଆଉ ଆମେ ତାକୁ ଭରି ଦଉଛେ ପାଣିରେ ସେ ଫୁଲ ହେଇଯାଉଛି ବା ତାର ନଲେଜ ବଢି ଯାଉଛି. No. Education is not a pouring in process but a drawing out process. ପିଲା ଭିତରେ ପୋଟେନ୍ସିଆଲିଟି ଅଛି, ଟ୍ୟାଲେଣ୍ଟ ଅଛି, ଆମେ ତା ଆଗରୁ ପିଲା ଭିତରୁ ତାକୁ କାଢିବାର ଅଛି. It is not a pouring in process, it is a drawing out process that has been highlighted by Gandhiji. So Gandhiji, all of you know that, highlighted basic education, or you can say that craft-centered education or work-centered education. which was a kind of revolt against the impractical colonial British education system, which aimed at political enslavement and economic dependency. Do you know? British education system, what the British education system is saying? Because India was under the British colonialism for a longer period of time. Okay, that's another point of discussion. We will not discuss about that here. So what Gandhiji is saying, Gandhiji believed in holistic development of human personality. So according to Gandhiji, education is not merely literacy. It is a quest for truth and non-violence, training of body and mind, and awakening of the soul. So, thus it should develop high moral, self-control, and right thinking in child, leading to self-realization. Also, Tagore has emphasized the term self-realization. Likewise, Gandhiji also has emphasized the term self-realization, importance on morality, self-control, and right thinking in child. He believed that individuals cannot realize his full potential in absence of society. That means society has an important role in the development of the child, and and at the same time, the individual should perform some basic services for the upliftment of or perform some activity for social service. So in that particular aspect, we can say that Gandhiji and Tagore has the same viewpoint. Gandhiji also finely blended sociological aspects with the pedagogy of education. In that particular sense, we can say that Gandhiji also has highlighted the concept that society and individual are not separate. They are two parts of the same coin. So, sociological aspects should be blended meaningfully with the pedagogy of education. According to Gandhiji, education must stimulate spiritual, intellectual, and physical faculties of the child. Accordingly, he emphasized coordination of these faculties for training of 3 H's: body, mind, and spirit. That is your head, heart, and hand. He believed that persistent questioning and healthy inquisitiveness are the first for acquiring learning of any kind. Particularly, our Right to Education Act 2009, free and compulsory education for all, that has been envisioned by Gandhiji at that particular time. He has viewed that elementary education should be free for all the children. So to conclude, we can say that I have another point to discuss. Gandhiji is known as a holistic educational reformer. That means naturalist in his educational setting, idealist in his educational aims, and pragmatic in method of teaching. So Gandhiji saw education as a means of awakening the national conscience to injustice, violence, and inequality entrenched in the social order. That is, NCF 2005 has said this. So Gandhiji's educational philosophy is sound. Yes? Actually, I am not able to hear you, Kamalini.
Ma'am, what is the meaning of pragmatic?
Acha, pragmatism. Yes.
Yes.
Anybody who want to say what is pragmatism? Pragmatism belief, actually, particularly if you say, elaborate the term pragmatism, the theory of pragmatism says that learning through experiment and practical application rather than rote memorization or passive reception of information. Pragmatic view is saying that active involvement in the learning, by interacting with the environment and applying knowledge to the real world situation. This is the vision of Gandhiji. The Gandhiji envisioned the democratic society, that is the Sarvodaya Samaj society. Understood? Kamalini, you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All of you know about that. Next, we will move to views of Western thinkers on education. Particularly, what is the views of John Dewey? John Dewey is the most influential and popular educational thinker of the modern times. His educational philosophy has been referred to as pragmatism. Pragmatism, I have already explained. What is pragmatism? Experimentalism. Yes, anybody can say that experimentalism? Experimentalism is testing ideas and theories through practical applications. That means we should encourage the students to explore, to experiment, and to learn from their mistakes. Or we can say that whenever the child is meaningfully engaging in some problem-solving task, he's constantly exploring, he's constantly experimenting, and he is learning from his mistake, and he is doing very several mistakes to reach out a particular aim or to reach out a particular goal. That is your experimentalism. Next is your functionalism. Practical function of mental process and how they help in individuals to adapt to their environment. That is your functionalism. So learning should be relevant to students' lives. It should be related to the day-to-day life of the child, the everyday life of the child, so that the child will function effectively in the society. Next is your instrumentalism. Yes? Who can say that? Instrumentalism, do you have any idea? John Dewey is not only a pragmatist, or his educational philosophy has been referred to as not only pragmatism, but also experimentalism, functionalism, instrumentalism, operationalism, practicalism, and progressivism. So these are the most important terms you must know. Okay, all of you want to know these terms, or we'll skip it? Yes?
Ma'am, discuss one by one.
Then instrumentalism is what? Ideas and knowledge as tools or instruments for solving the problem and or to reaching out a particular goal. So in that particular sense, we can say that education should be or should equip children with the necessary skills and knowledge. They need to navigate and interact with the world. Next is your operationalism. Practical consequences of actions and ideas. That is your operationalism. Next is your practicality or practicalism. Education should prepare children for real world challenges and to enable them to contribute to the society. Practicalism means to face the real world challenges and to contribute meaningfully to the society. That is your practicalism. And what is progressivism? Education system is constantly evolving. So we have to adapt or we have to change to meet the needs of the students and society. That means education should be a dynamic process of growth and development rather than a static transmission of knowledge and information. The process of education should be dynamic and evolving. Okay? All of you understood it? So particularly, to begin with, Dewey was an idealist. But later, he moved towards pragmatism and naturalism of his mature philosophy. The central focus of his philosophy is epistemology. What is epistemology? Is the theory of knowledge that contested the dualism of mind and world, thought and action, which had marked Western philosophy since the 17th century. Dewey's educational philosophy helped forward the progressive education movement and the development of experimental education programs and experiments. Dewey referred to education as a social need and function as a process of living and growth. That means both social and individual aspects that are mutually dependent on each other. From the social viewpoint, education is essential to the continuous existence and transformation of the organization of the social life. From the individual perspective, it is a method to enable individuals to play an effective role as members of a human community or society. So according to Dewey, education is the process of reconstruction of experience through the medium of increased individual efficiency. The main aim of education, according to Dewey, are natural development, social efficiency, cultivation of mind of individual with respect to appreciation of ideas, art, and broad human interest. So according to Dewey, the purpose of education should not revolve around the acquisition of predetermined set of skills, rather the realization of one's full potentiality and the ability to use these skills for the greater good of the society. So Dewey has highlighted on the concept that to release the human potential for growth. Which kind of growth? Growth through freedom, creativity, and dialogue. For Dewey, the capacity to cultivate growth is the criterion for evaluating the quality of all social institutions. Dewey has advocated the democratic form of government or the democratic form of social structure. Dewey has said that education should be democratic. Also, Dewey highlighted the fact that he did not subscribe to the notion of freedom as complete absence of any discipline. That means some kind of discipline should be encouraged or discipline should remain. His view on freedom is not complete absence of discipline. Also, Dewey has criticized the concept of overemphasis on curriculum, which leads to the inactivity of the students in the entire process of learning. Dewey has advocated the importance of education as a stage or as a stage, not only to develop the content knowledge, but also as a place to learn how to live. Because the child learns through participation in various kind of activities. Dewey also believed in the concept learning by doing or learning by living. And Dewey always criticized the term, that is your rote memorization of facts and formula. Dewey argued that thinking does not occur in isolation from social situation without experience or action. According to Dewey, thinking is a method It is the method of intelligent experiencing. That means societal impact has a significant role in the learning of the child. Dewey has emphasized the concept social interaction or experience. Dewey has said that an ounce of experience is better than a ton of theory, because it is only in experience that any theory has vital and verifiable significance. Dewey has placed the child as the core of the whole educational process. Education must begin with a psychological insight into the child's capacities, interests, and habits. According to Dewey, education is life itself and not a preparation for life. Dewey also regards school as an institution or important institution essential to social life. Dewey has argued the term that school is not a place where some knowledge is imparted, but school is a place where some positive or attributive behavior, social behavior has been also inherited within the child, which is helpful for the personality, development of personality and all-round development of the child. Dewey also said that there should not be sudden break in the activities of the child in the home and in the school, because there is a strong coordination between the school and families, or the parents and school are the important stakeholder in the education process. Do we believe that method is not separate from subject matter? Method means arrangement of subject matter, which makes it most effective in use. Teachers are responsible for disciplining the individual to understand and appreciate the existing norms and practices of a culture. So the school or the teacher plays an important role in order to upkeep or to preserve the culture and the values within the society. Views of John Dewey are clearly reflected in your National Curriculum Framework 2005, where it talks about the construction of knowledge. That means the teacher's own role in children's cognition could be enhanced if they assume a more active role in relation to process of knowledge. That means Dewey has defined that the role of teacher and student goes simultaneously. The teacher should be a learner and learner should be a teacher also, if required. Allowing children to ask questions that require them to relate what they are learning in schools to things happening outside, encouraging children to answer in their own words and from their own experience, rather than simple memorizing and getting answers right in just one way. All of you understood the way, but what are the educational thought or educational principles advocated by Dewey? Yes or no? Okay. I will take a 5 minutes break. I'm coming. All of you stay here. Or if you need some break, you can go and join in 5 minutes, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next is your educational thinkers. We will talk about Paulo Freire. Paulo Freire's pedagogy developed in the particular historical and political circumstances of new colonialism and imperialism. Freire's perception of society and social relations is based on class relations. That means you can say that he sees social dynamics through the oppressor and the oppressed dialectic. Freire discusses two types of knowledge: unconscious, sometimes practical knowledge, and critical, that is your reflective or theory knowledge. Beliefs are shaped into knowledge by discussion and critical reflection. According to Paulo Freire, knowledge should not be limited to logic and content or emotion and superstition, but it should seek the connection between understanding and feelings. His pedagogical critique of banking education particularly, he has correlated the term banking education with the concept of education. That means the concept of banking education means what? Education is treated and practiced as a depositing activity. Depositing activity should not be done in the teaching learning process. That means depositing activity, what happens in a depositing activity? There is one depositor and another one is depositories. So here students become the depositories and the teacher is the depositor. But according to Freire, this should not be the case. The role of the teacher is not a mere depositor. That means we will deposit the knowledge in the minds of the child. No. The scope of action allowed the students extends only as far as receiving, feeling, and storing the deposits. Or we can say that receiving, feeling, and storing the information. That is not the role of the students or the role of the learners. The teacher is not the teacher is not a depositor, and the learner is not a depository where the deposits have been to store. So this is the banking concept of pedagogy or banking education of Freire. According to Freire, banking education begins with a false understanding of men as objects. Men are not objects. In his view, man is not a conscious being. He is rather the possessor of consciousness. According to Freire, conscientization constitute both growing critical awareness of the learner by himself and a willingness to act on the reality to change it. According to Freire, dialogue is not the only method of education, but an existential necessity for humanization. That means learning process is not a one-way process and the teacher is not the depositor and the students are not the depositories. Learning process should be interacted with the dialogic interaction or debate or discussion because it is an existential necessity for humanization. Learning is a two-way process. That means the teacher, at some time, the teacher may be the learner and the learner may be the teacher. Hence, learning is a process where knowledge is presented to us, then shaped through understanding, discussion, and reflection. Learning is not a mere knowledge construction or knowledge creation. Learning also happens or shaped through understanding, discussion, and reflection. If you are not reflecting, ଆମେ ଯଦି reflection କରୁନେ ବା reflecting କରୁନେ, ତାହେଲେ we cannot be a good teacher. Yes or no? Let's discuss about this concept. Okay, I am not aware that all of you have listening or not. Some are not joining, some have left. Yesterday we have 62 participants and today we have only 18. Where are the rest participants? Yes? They know everything. They don't need any discussion. Always remember the fact that we learn better through discussion. जदि आम क्लास रे सुनुचे तो आमर 60 to 70% content we analyze or visualize within ourselves rather than mere reading. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So what Prior is saying? Okay, what was your point of discussion? What was the point of discussion? Yes, anybody who can say that? Discussion or reflection through the child learns. And it is also essentially necessary for the teacher also. I mean, reflection karune. I mean, class nala par we should reflect. Okay. Here are the lacunas I need to improve. Yes, Akshay, you want to say?
आत्म समीक्षा करिया मैडम तो
Yes, Atma Samikya. You know the Odia term very well. Atma Samikya, self-reflection.
जी मैम.
Do you have done DLED?
Yes ma'am.
DLED kurcha? Kodu kurcha?
Ma'am, Bhubaneswar ITI, Unit 6.
Unit 6 Bhubaneswar. ताऊ तमे सब जानि छै गुडा कोन पढियो तमे?
सुनुची मैडम.
ए टर्म कॉन्सेप्ट गुडा तमे जानि थिबो जानछ ना नहीं?
आगे.
रिफ्लेक्शन जदि हो नाही तले हमें जानि परिबानी हमर कोठी डिफिकल्टी रहिला तमे पढैथिबो पिला रे क्लास रे पिलांग पढैछो? पढैछो ना नहीं?
आगे मैम.
एलिमेंटरी लेवल पिलांग पढैछो?
आगे मैम नो अच्छे बे जॉइन
गोटे क्लास नेला परे यू फील वेरी सैटिस्फाइड. व्हाई?
मैम सेथरे रिजल्ट जानि हम कि केते माने पिल्ला माने केते अचीव करले आ मोर कोन लाकुना रहि गेला कि पिल्ला मान को एरिया ऑफ इंटरेस्ट देखि पाली नै से सब जन सब के फोकस करिया पड़े.
यस वेरी गुड. जदि हम सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्शन करूचे सेल्फ इवैल्यूएट करूचे हमें जानि परिबा जे नो आज मो क्लास रे मैक्सिमम पिला पार्टिसिपेट कलेनी. मैक्सिमम पिला अटेंटिव नथिले इनअटेंटिव थिले.
एक्चुअल मैम कोन छी काली हमरा जो सेवक सेविका रे एग्जाम अछि त
को एग्जाम?
ओ एसएसडी माने जो एसएसडी डेवलपमेंट स्कूल रो.
अच्छा अच्छा
सेथि में मैम
अच्छा
सेथि पे बहुत पिला जॉइन करना दे जे आज ଆଉ କାଲି 2 दिन ଅଛି କାଲି ଆଉ ପର दिन 2 दिन ଅଛି मैम.
अच्छा अच्छा ठीक अछि. तो जो तुमे माने जो माने अच्छो तुमर नाही एग्जाम अछि?
अछि मैम.
बट यू हैव द डिजायर टू लर्न समथिंग. तला में ए जो तुमर एग्जाम रे भी एगुडा सब आसीबो नहीं?
Yes, ma'am. I'm actually पढ़ुनी एगुडा मैडम सेकी मने रहउनी डिस्कशन द्वारा सेती हम लिखि परिबो. सेति पई ही हमको इच्छा होची जे नहीं क्लास जॉइन करले बेसी फ्रूटफुल होबो हम पाए.
Yes. Actually, it is very difficult to cover all the content in a limited time. तुम्हारो 4टा क्लास रे पूरा मु पढेबी करिकुलम एंड नॉलेज. मो पाई भी स्ट्रेनियस, तम पाई भी स्ट्रेनियस.
Yes, ma'am.
Still I am trying. मु चाहूची मैक्सिमम केमिति तुमको इजी करि परिबी कंटेंट गुडा
आज्ञा
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ओके
आमे भी वर्किंग तो तेणु आमे भी फैमिली को टाइम देकी जॉब करिकी पुणी पढ़िबाटा हम भी डिफिकल्ट हो जाउछे।
हाँ ए मोर मोर
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
আজি पिला मोर आज पिला जो रिफ्रेशर कोर्स मु करिछि 10 ରୁ 5 ଟା हैला तापर
आज्ञा
तमरो क्लास
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
नउछि बे 6 ରୁ 8 ଟା मोर भी दिटा छोटो छुआ अछंती इट इज आल्सो इक्वली स्ट्रेनियस ऑन माय पार्ट बुझि परछो
यस
त
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
मैम यस मैम
माने मोर
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
पेशेंस रहुनी
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
आ माने पढिबा पई स्टिल because it has duty has been assigned to me and I have to perform the task
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
तो मु सेही गोटे जिल रे गोटे जोश रे करिछि तो तुम पार्टिसिपेशन तमरो नाही मु केते कहिबी लेक्चर मेथड हला बेलकु मते भी इंटरेस्ट आसुनी समटाइम्स आई फील बोर कौन कहबी कौन न कहबी बुझि परछो त
यस मैम वी
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
अंडरस्टैंड हमको जमते क्लास रे लाइक जे जेते छुआ के आंसर सेही बळे अपन भरा गुथो
यस तो प्रायर कौन कहउचंती knowing is a social process that means it involves the whole conscious of self feelings emotions memory an epistemologically curious mind focused on objects equally involves other thinking objects that means Fryer is saying that we cannot individually construct our own knowledge or belief system on the particular aspect. We have to also consider the viewpoint of others, thinking system of others, reasoning of others, so that we can construct knowledge meaningfully. Otherwise, it will only be a knowledge that has no rational base. Similarly, Fryer is saying that teaching is a political process. Political process, it means what? It must be a democratic process. Democratic process means lack of authority dependence. That means lack of teacher-centered approach. Democratic principle means learner-centered approach. हमारा NCF 2005 कहूची learners should learn in a democratic way. गणतांत्रिक धारा भित्तिरे व्यक्ति सत्तार परिपृष्ठ करिबा अक्षय एटा अछि तो NCF 2005 रे
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
हां गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल रो
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
सेटा होची कॉन्सेप्ट फ्रायर मध्य
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
बिलीव करूचंदी सेम थिंग
ଆଜ୍ଞା
लर्निंग शुड बी डेमोक्रेटिक इट मस्ट बी a democratic process to avoid teaching authority dependence actually ମୁଁ ବି
ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କ
ଡାଏଟ
ନିଡ୍
ଥିଲି
ଅନୁସାରେ ସମସ୍ତ
I
ଆଜ୍ଞା
was in diet कटक डाइट रे फर्स्ट थिली तापर तुमर आरएनटीआई सेठी भी थिली
ଆଜ୍ଞା
खोर्धा डाइट रे भी थिली नेक्स्ट मु एबे अछि तुमर आरएनआईएससी बीए ट्रेनिंग कॉलेज बुझि पाछो तो
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା
तो ये सब कांसेप्ट टर्म बुझे बुझे आछि मु किंतु ए जो डिस्कशन न हले अच्छा अक्षय कोन कहउतलो तुम यस व्हाट यू आर सेइंग से
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଏଇଟା କଣ କହୁଥିଲି ଭୁଲିଗଲି।
डेमोक्रेटिक लर्निंग शुड
ହଁ
बी
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ଆଜ୍ଞା
डेमोक्रेटिक
ଆଜ୍ଞା
प्रोसेस
ମୁଁ କହିଲି ସମସ୍ତେ ସମସ୍ତେ ଯେମିତି ସବୁ କାଟାଗୋରୀର ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ତାଙ୍କର ନଲେଜ ଅନୁସାରେ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ପ୍ରୋଭାଇଡ କରିବା ମାନେ ତାଙ୍କ ନିଡ୍ ଅନୁସାରେ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଯାହାର ଯାହାର ଆବଶ୍ୟକ ଅଛି ସେଇ ଅନୁସାରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଏଜୁକେସନ ପ୍ରୋଭାଇଡ କରିବା ଡେମୋକ୍ରାଟିକ ୱେରେ।
यस डेमोक्रेटिक वे माने कोन हमर डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट रे कोन होची डेमोक्रेसी गवर्नमेंट रे
इक्वाल
ऑफ द
फैसिलिटी शुड बी
पीपल
प्रोवाइडेड टू
ऑफ
ऑल।
द पीपल बाय द पीपल एंड फॉर द पीपल ये कहै छेटा
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆବ୍ରାହam
एटा
लिंकन।
अब्राहम
हां
लिंकन
डेमोक्रेटिक यस सेमती डेमोक्रेसी इन एजुकेशन मीन्स व्हाट सब होची लर्नर सेंट्रिक द होल
मैडम
एजुकेशन
हम
सिस्टम
सब
इज
पिलांकर लेवल को नहीं कि हमको पढ़ेगा पड़िबो ए नहीं जे बस जो पिला गिफ्टेड चाइल्ड
inclusive
तांको बेसी
education.
इंपोर्टेंस दबा और जो माने लोएस्ट चाइल्ड सेमानन को आव एम्फासिस दबानी सेमानन को भी
यस
तांको स्टैंडर्ड नहीं कि तांको सेठी इंपोर्टेंस दबा
वेरी गुड तो सब पिलांकर लर्निंग एबिलिटी इज डिफरेंट ଶିଖିବାର ଶୈଳୀ
ଶୈଳୀ ଅଲଗା ଅଲଗା।
ଶିଖିବାର ଶୈଳୀ ଅଲଗା, ଶିଖିବାର ଦକ୍ଷତା ବି ଅଲଗା,
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆଉ ଶିଖିବାର ବେଗ ବି ଅଲଗା। କେତେ ଜଣ ଶୀଘ୍ର ଶିଖିଯିବେ, କେତେ ଜଣଙ୍କୁ ଟାଇମ ଲାଗିବ, କେତେ ଜଣଙ୍କୁ ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରା କ୍ଲାସ କଲେ ସେମାନେ ଟିକେ ଭଲ ଶିଖିବେ, ବା ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରା ଆଟେନସନ ଦେଲେ ସେମାନେ ଭଲ ଶିଖିବେ। ବୁଝିହଉଛି?
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ତ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଟିଚର କଣ କରିବ, ସବୁ ପିଲାଙ୍କର ନିଡ କୁ ନେଇକି ତା ଟିଚିଂ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଟେଜି ବନେଇବ। ମୁଁ କେବଳ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଗିଫ୍ଟେଡ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ବା ଯୋଉମାନେ ଆନ୍ସର ଦଉଛନ୍ତି, ଯୋଉମାନେ ରେସ୍ପଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ତାଙ୍କୁ ନେଇକି ବନେଇଦେବି ଯଦି ମୋର ଅବଜେକ୍ଟିଭ କଣ? NCEP 2005 କହୁଛି ପୁରା engage each and every student meaningfully or the learning should be enjoyable and interesting for the child. ହଁ ନା ନାଇଁ? ତ ଲର୍ନିଂ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟିଂ ଆଉ ଏନ୍ଜୟେବୁଲ ଯଦି ହଉନାହିଁ, ଲର୍ନିଂ ଯଦି ଟିଚିଂ ଲର୍ନିଂ ପ୍ରୋସେସ ଡିଜାଇନ ଯଦି ପିଲାର ନିଡ କୁ ଦେଖିକି ବନା ହେଇନାହିଁ, ପିଲାର ଲର୍ନିଂ କାପାସିଟି କୁ ଦେଖିକି ବନା ହେଇନାହିଁ, then the child will not be benefited from their teaching learning process. So এটা ଗୋଟେ important thing, teacher is a co-learner in the teaching learning process. ମନେ ଅଛି ତ ଏଇଟା? କଣ କହୁଛି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
constructivist
ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
approach? Teacher is a co-learner, teacher ବି ଶିଖୁଛି। Teacher is not a facilitator, teacher is a co-learner in the teaching learning process. That means the
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
learner
ସେମିତି
gradually know.
ଭାବିଲେ
Yes,
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ସେମିତି ଭାବିଲେ ଯାଇକି ଗୋଟେ ଟିଚର ଯାଇକି ଲେବୁଲକୁ ବୁଝିପାରିବ। କାହିଁକି ନା ଆମେ
yes.
ଯେତେବେଳେ ଭାବିବା ଯେ ଆମେ ସବୁ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି, ପିଲା କଣ କହୁଛି ଆମେ ଠିକରେ ଶୁଣିବାନି, ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ତାକୁ ବୁଝିବା କେମିତି?
ହଁ, ସେଥିପାଇଁ କୁହାଯାଇଛି teacher should be a good listener. Teacher listener ହବା ଦରକାର। Teacher should have empathy, sympathy towards the child. Teacher should consider the child as the center of the learning activity. So, according to Fryer, the learners gradually know what they did not yet know. And what the educators will do, the educators re-know what they know before. ସେମାନେ ଯାହା ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ତାକୁ ଆଉଥରେ ଜାଣିବେ, ପିଲାଟି ଯାହା ଜାଣି ନାହିଁ ସେ ତାକୁ ଜାଣିବ। So here the teacher is a co-learner. Okay? So
Yes, ma'am.
Fryer's critical pedagogy talked about making teachers and students aware of the politics that surround education. ଏଠି political factor କାମ କରୁଛି ନା? ମୋର political leader କିଏ ହଉଛି? ଯିଏ ଭଲ ଭାଷଣ ଦେଇପାରୁଛି, ହଁ ନା ନାଇଁ?
Yes, ma'am.
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ଯାହାର ଏଜେଣ୍ଡା ଯେତେ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରଙ୍ଗ, ଯେ କହୁଛି ମୁଁ ଏଇଟା କରିବି ସେଇଟା କରିବି, ଯେ ତମକୁ ପ୍ରତିଶ୍ରୁତି ଦଉଛି ବିଭିନ୍ନ କାମ କରିବା ପାଇଁ, that political leader, you choose that political leader. Yes or no?
ଆଜ୍ଞା
Yes,
ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ma'am.
Teacher student relationship is also a political environment by surrounding education. Because ତୁମେ ଦେଖୁଛ କଣ, ଗୋଟେ ପଲିଟିକାଲ ଲିଡର ଦେଖିଲେ ତୁମେ ପ୍ରତିଶ୍ରୁତି ଦେଲା ପରେ ସେ ତାର କାମ କଲାନି, ତମେ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଟାଇମ ତାକୁ ଚୁଜ କରିବ? କରିବନି,
ନା
ତୁମେ
ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଲିଡର ଦେଖିବ,
ନା।
ହଁ ନା ନାଇଁ? Similarly, the case
Yes,
of
ma'am.
teaching learning process, the way students are taught and what they are taught serves as a political agenda. ମୁଁ ଦେଖିଲି ମୋର ଗୋଟିଏ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଟେଜି କାମ କରୁନି ଆଜ ଏ ଟିଚର, ମୋର ଗୋଟିଏ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଟେଜି ଫେଲ ମାରିଲା, ମୁଁ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଟେଜି ୟୁଜ କରିବି, ମୁଁ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଟେକ୍ନିକ ମେଥଡୋଲୋଜି ଆପ୍ଲାଏ କରିବି। Fryer believed that education makes sense because women and men learn that through learning they can make and remake themselves. Because women and men are able to take responsibility for themselves as beings capable of knowing, and they know, and knowing they don't know. So what is the basic purpose of Fryer's liberation? Education is liberation. And how it is liberation is achieved? It is achieved through authentic dialogue in which everyone speaks one's own world with the mediation of the world to name the world. That means the pedagogy of the oppressed. By analyzing Fryer's pedagogy, we are able to identify his significant contribution to education. What are the Fryer's significant contribution to education? Emphasis on dialogue. Fryer is saying that dialogical conversation or dialogue is more fruitful because here we come to know about the different dimension of perspective to analyze a single problem. Concern with praxis. What is praxis? Action that is informed and linked to certain values. Concern with conscientization, developing consciousness that is understood to have the power to transform reality. Insistence on lived experience of participants, provide educational activities to suit the living situation and experience of the people. So what are the NCF 2000 imperatives regarding the priors? View on NCF 2005, it is mentioned that teaching is no more an activity of planning a lesson. Teaching is no more an activity of planning a lesson or presenting ready-made knowledge for achieving outcomes. But teaching is a process of making children think and try out what they are learning. Thinking and trying out. So the role of the teacher is one of facilitating construction of knowledge and engaging children by raising the right kind of questions and organizing well-chosen activities and tasks. How we can perform these tasks? By inquiry, by exploration, by questioning, by debates, by application and reflection, leading to theory building and creation of ideas. So schools, the role of school and teacher must provide opportunities to question, inquire, debate, and reflect to arrive at some new ideas. So if prior concept re tome मन रखिबो banking concept. Banking concept कौन कहूची? Depositor and depositories. Teacher-student relationship एटा हवा कथा नुहे. We are not the depositors and they are not the depositories. Rather, the teacher-student relationship should be a reflective one to drawing out of the best from the child. Yes, Akshay?
Co-learner.
Yes, co-learner. So what are the commonalities and the difference regarding the aims of education? कौन commonalities अच्छी educational thinker आउ western thinker भितरे कौन differences अच्छी आमे ताकू अबे देखिबा. It is interesting to know that there are more common points among the Indian thinkers and the Indian thinkers. Yes. Tagore और गांधी जी same thing कहउचंदी. कौन कहउचन same thing कौन कौन point आमे पढ़िले टैगोर और गांधी कर कौन कौन commonalities अच्छी similarities अच्छी. All-round development of the child, that is one concept. Spiritual development of the child or all-round development of the child. Also, they believed in universal community of human beings. Universal community of human beings. They appeal for a sense of unity in this world to see society without crisis. That means,
Ma'am, they both believe
yes,
in society play a vital role in the education system.
हाँ. तो आमर एम केवल इंडिविजुअल प्रॉस्पेरिटी नुह आम किसी सोशल डेवलपमेंट भी करिबा फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ द सोसाइटी or to perform some social services we need to do something. That is the viewpoint of Tagore and Gandhi both. आउ कौन commonality? Freedom to learners. दी जन जाक कहिसेंती कोन लर्नर्स को फ्रीडम दिया जिबा दरकार ता नेचुरल पेस रे से पढिबा दरकार. Because nothing can be achieved by compulsion. Also, Tagore and Gandhi both stood together regarding the consideration for cultural aspect of education. ଦୁଇ ଜଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କ'ଣ? Cultural heritage को हमें protect करिबा, conserve करिबा, and culture रो significant role अछि to develop the personality of a child. Okay. Gandhiji emphasized craft-centered education or advocated education for self-sufficiency or self-reliance, leading to Gandhiji view कौन थिला? को society? सर्वोदय समाज हैला जोठी के टैगोर yes
Vocational education.
yes vocational education or you can say that craft centered education but the society he
मौलिक
has
शिक्षा।
envisioned is the सर्वोदय समाज मौलिक शिक्षा basic education yes so both of them have similar viewpoints okay Tagore and Gandhi. So what are the modern thinkers similarities? Dive ଆଉ ପ୍ରାୟ କ'ଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି? Integration of theory and practice. ଦୁଇ ଜଣ ଯାକ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କ'ଣ? Integration of theory and practice. Believe that education could improve human condition and contribute to humanization. So pedagogy, this kind of pedagogy କ'ଣ କହୁଛି? Insisted on dialogical and action oriented approach. So prior କ'ଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି? Education is the development of critical consciousness among people, realizing the self, critical consciousness of the among the people. Similarly, Dewey has described school as a unique social institution where he communicates, construct and inquire and express his ideas or learning by doing. So both the Western thinkers also recognize the significance of individual freedom for learners. Educational thinkers भी कहते हैं individual freedom दिया जाए दरकार. Western educationists भी कहते हैं individual freedom should be given because the child learns in his own pace. पिला teacher रो pace रे से सीखेनी. ता निजो pace रे से सीखे. ता निजो रो learning तार जो लर्निंग स्टाइल अच्छी बा तार लर्निंग एबिलिटी अच्छी बा लर्निंग टेक्निक बा स्किल अच्छी ताकू से यूज करके से सिखिबो नॉट कि टीचर रो व्यू पॉइंट रे से सिखिबो यस और नो सो व्हाट आर द मेन डिफरेंस noticed between the Indian and Western thinkers गोटे डिफरेंस है स्पिरिचुअल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ एजुकेशन spiritual development ऊपर बेसी फोकस किए दउचंदी इंडियन थिंकर और वेस्टर्न थिंकर
Indian thinkers.
yes very good Indian thinkers laid much emphasis on the significance of spirituality in education whereas the western thinkers given much importance in relation to the social environment they are saying that social environment is important that is the relations of man with the social environment education and society education and society education and social institution okay all of you understood
Yes, ma'am.
the cultural social perspective on education is the same thing we have discussed it conceptual logical perspective on education is also the same thing but here the R.S. Peter has given some views he's saying that education as initiation conceptual logical perspective of education is an initiation is to regard process of education as task relative to achievement initiation is meant as initiating the child into a kind of life a culture that is considered worthwhile So education involves essentially process which intentionally transmit what is valuable in an intelligible and voluntary manner, and which create in the learner a desire to achieve it. Thus, achievement is related to a family task, which we call process of education. So, what R.S. Peter is saying, the state of education process is curing. Curing means what? Making the man morally better. He's saying that some kind of values, some kind of tradition, some kind of reform should be transmitted through the educational institution or through the process of education. So education is a process which intentionally transmits what is valuable in an intelligible and voluntary way or voluntary manner. And it is desirable on the part of the learner to achieve it. Okay, social prospective education is all of you know that. I will not. I'm not going to discuss it. Okay, so far your block 1 is complete. ଭାବିଥିଲି block 2 ର ଟିକେ start କରିବି but due to shortage of time and you have also exam.
ଆଜ୍ଞା
Yeah.
ma'am. ଆଜ୍ଞା ma'am.
So ଆଉ ଯୋଉ 2 ଦିନ ରହିଲା ଆମେ ସେ 2 ଦିନରେ 2ଟା ବ୍ଲକ ଭାବୁଛି ପିପିଟି ଟା ବନେଇକି ତମକୁ ପଢେଇ ଦେବି ହେଲା ଯଦି ତମର କିଛି ଡାଉଟ ଥିବ ତମେ ମତେ ପଚାରିବ otherwise we will go very ଆମର ଆଉ 2ଟା ବ୍ଲକ ସରିବନି ଆମେ ପୁରା ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଟୁ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଡିସ୍କସନ କରିବା ଯଦି କିଛି ଡାଉଟ ଅଛି ଆଉ 15 ମିନିଟ ଆମେ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ରେ at the end we will discuss. Okay.
ଆଜ୍ଞା.
Thank you all for your participation. Okay,
Thank you ma'am.
take a screenshot. Take a screenshot and
Thank you, ma'am.
send it to me. Okay, thank you everybody.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Akshay, take a screenshot and send it to me. Okay.
ଆଜ୍ଞା ma'am.